Hello, traders. It's 8 a.m. Chicago time on Wednesday, the 23rd of June, 2021. This is episode number 2020. We're reaching the big time here. We're catching up with our actual year. Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. As always, a mic check is appreciated. So we're going to look at start off with the pre-market summary sheet. Let me get my face off this screen so we don't cover the disclaimer and so on. Again, this is a Convergent Trading pre-market summary sheet. Today, the market condition is mixed overall, completely balanced overnight across the board. Products are trading in what is basically a Gaussian type of distribution, and except for the Russell is a little bit thinner, but overall, we're resting easy at the top end of the range, near all-time highs. And the overnight, the extended trading hours all-time high in the S&P is 42.58 and a quarter. The overnight session got to 42.48 and a quarter. The all-time high in RTH is 42.48 and a half. So we missed the all-time high, the RTH all-time high, by one tick overnight in the S&P. But overall, we're seeing a mixed balance of across the board. We saw the European stocks drop a little bit and not recover so much as the U.S. stocks did. Crude is really pushing today, up 1.22%. Copper is also pushing up 1.5%. Bitcoin and Ether and the entire crypto space has been getting hammered. And there was a recovery. Bitcoin yesterday got down to $28,000 per coin and is up to $34,000 currently in the futures. I'm quoting the actual coin, and that's this thing's pretty volatile. But with the pressure from China and so on, the crypto space is having a bit of a hard time finding traction. Although it has fought this 30,000 level quite a bit. Again, the overnight profile on the S&P is completely balanced. 135,000 contracts traded so far, which is well within expectations. And the overnight inventory is 63% long. The range 17.5 points only, with a point of control now at 42.40.50, 42.40.50. The market is currently trading at 42.40.50, completely sideways. Some of the news events that may be driving behavior. Iran has announced that the U.S. has lifted oil and shipping sanctions. The EU business growth economic release this morning came in at a 15-year high, and after yesterday's testimony by Jerome Powell, the market is perceiving the threat of a rate hike as reduced. This morning, in about 6 minutes, we get Fed's Bowman at 9:45, 15 minutes after the open. We get the market manufacturing PMI, services PMI flash, and the composite flash. At 10, we get new home sales, and at 10:30, we get crude inventories and gasoline inventories. Fed's Bostic at 11, and an ECB's Lagarde at 12 p.m. Eastern. So that's where we stand. Again, as always, I'm going to remind you to follow twitter.com/conf trading. If you have a Twitter account, just go to twitter.com/conf trading, and you'll receive this summary at 7:50 Central, 8:50 Eastern, or thereabouts every day. If you have questions or you're not understanding the terms that I'm using throughout the Trader Bite, the glossary is at go2ct.pro/glossary-terms. So that's where that stands. Jeffrey just noticed that I'm broadcasting in 4K. That is actually unintentional. I was I was playing with that, playing with that in preparation for something else, and I guess I forgot to switch it. But hey, you're getting me in full 4K resolution. I guess that's an improvement, or maybe not. Here's what was expected yesterday. This is from this is just a pause of yesterday's Trader Bite. Yesterday's Trader Bite, I warned about a very strong potential. Oh, now these lines are too thin. Let's make them thicker. I warned of a very strong potential for chop on the open. I expected it to try to test lower, and then I expected it to push higher, and I put on here 35 as the figure. 35 as the figure to test. That's my key target. That is the upper MC point of control. Before we get to new all-time highs or the last all-time high, that's the main plan. The secondary plan is an attempt to push higher, an impulse down that takes out the overnight low, and then starts really driving towards 41.75, 41.73. Brings us basically back in line with the balance down below that we've had and this big composite area. I'm not going to go more in depth than that. I covered it a lot yesterday. You might want to check that out. Here's what we actually got. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Essentially the same type of thing. Let's remove the lines, clean this up a little bit. Same thing, chop at the open, quick test down. It tested the overnight low to the tick, and then we get this strong push up, pull back higher low, and a break higher, an impulse higher that gets us 31.75. We finally get to 35 up here. Had to sit through quite a bit of chop. It chopped around for quite some time. It put in this high at 10:30-ish around the European close and didn't take that high out until 1:30, and this is Central Time. 1:30, 3 hours later. It took forever to get up there, but the breakout long above 31.75 at 32 only had 1 point of heat with a lot of push. So there was an excellent R factor trade at that location. So this is where that 35.50 comes from. It's the upper MC point of control. We ended up pushing all the way up to 45 something. Let's take a look. 45.50, and it pulled back and it closed right on top of the 35.50. Settlement was 36.25. The pit close was 36.25, and that's where it rested. We left behind singles at 42.32 and 42.24.25. Yesterday, these are important reference points for this morning. The overnight low was 26.25. If you recall, this was the overnight high yesterday. If you hopefully you're committing some of these levels to memory. I know it seems kind of crazy, but committing these, remembering these things is relatively important. So in any case, wait, no, that was, I apologize. I misstated this. This should not be turned on. And the low overnight was actually 30.75. So we didn't quite pull back to the 26 here. We pulled back to the consolidation. If you recall, 31.75 yesterday. It went to 30.75 in the overnight session before coming back to the overnight point of control. And the market is resting essentially currently. The market is resting on top of the overnight point of control. It is resting on top of the full session mid and full session VWAP, completely imbalanced. And as you can see here, the profile is pretty balanced and sideways. So we're opening in the upper at the upper end of the range. We're opening very close to settlement. We're opening in a bounce mode with the all-time high only 8 points away. So if we look at this on the footprint chart, the volume scope chart here, you can see there's quite a bit going on. There's the overnight point of control. There's VWAP right here. There's mid is the blue, VWAP is the cyan, and the overnight high is 42.50 with the all-time high right up here. So we are really poised to attack the overnight high today, which was expected after Monday's action. I talked about the high probability that we would start attacking the 48.50 high, and I'm expecting that to take place today. So that's where that stands. Other than that, looking at the order flow, because we are getting to the high. We want to see what's above us. There's a little bit here and there, but 42.45 has a little bit of size on it. Not much of it is a block. You can see that only a tiny portion of it is a block. The rest is really bits and pieces. Below us, there's some size at the 42.36.50, but other than that, there's really not much we can garner from the order flow. So that's where that stands. And again, we're resting at full session VWAP, full session mid, holding steady right at the overnight point of control here at 42.40.50. So overall, we're kind of sitting steady and waiting for the next break. This essentially is an impulse, and what we have is basically a kind of a flag formation that is likely to break on the upside. Okay, so that's where that stands. Let's take a moment now and do what I could not do on Friday, and take a moment and do this thing we do once every couple weeks. A couple people have asked why I have not done it recently, but take a moment to tell us where you're located. Just type in your city, state, / province, country. Look around, see who's close. I have not devised a good system of connecting traders just yet, but hopefully you all can connect. I do discourage you from posting email addresses or phone numbers. I would highly encourage you, if you have a Twitter, to put on link your Twitter account, or to put in your Twitter handle, and that way people can connect with you. So city, state, province, country, and your Twitter would actually help people connect with you. Or if you want to connect with other people, you can just put your Twitter out there. That's publicly available information anyway. Okay, so let's get on to what we have for today. I'm just setting up the chart. Here we go. Okay, so what are we looking at for today? Again, I have to change my pens here because of the 4K resolution. What are we looking at for today? Again, we're opening at the upper end of the range. We're opening in balance at the upper end of the range, and we are completely balanced in the overnight session. We've shifted the overnight point of control to 42.40.75 now, with the point of control at 42.40, essentially opening completely in balance. We have a very clear test up, very clear test below, and we are holding in the middle. So guess what? Same thing as yesterday, expecting chop sideways at the open. I'm looking for the market to make an attempt lower, eventually catch the impulse up. How low? Potentially down into the 42.32 singles there to fill, and then push the 42.48 quarter, which takes us out of the realm of all prices that we've had so far, new all-time highs. 42.4850 gets taken out, and then we don't have, as I said, in the heat map, I'm not seeing much in terms of size at 42.50, not seeing much in terms of defense up there, so not expecting the 42.50 to do much, but I'm looking for 42.59. So 59 becomes the key target. Above today, 59 to 63 is a cluster of several measured move levels up there. That's where I'm expecting it to target this morning. The secondary scenario, again, open auction, pushes the high, again, takes out the 42.4850 to 50, consolidates up there, and then fails to sustain these prices with an impulse down back to the overnight point of control and the open, and then starts migrating downwards into the single prints back to 42.30 or so. So there we're looking for a range of about 50. So 48 is right up here, 48.50. Oof, that's terrible. 48.50, potential turn in the 52 range. And then we're looking for 30 on the downside. That would be scenario 2 right there. Let me switch colors back and put in scenario 1. Those are the two key areas, new all-time highs, and we have no auction to refer to. We start working with measured move targets and stuff like that, which I'm not in favor of, but that's the only thing that's left at that point. Again, look for a battle at 42.50. Once it pushes through 42.50, I'm looking for it to push to 59. The idea is to wait for the market to test early. I said the same words yesterday. Wait for the market to test early. Check the downside as soon as we see that it's banging away on the bids, but it's not moving through. It creates an opportunity for a long, and then we're looking for a long. We're going to look to hang in there through 42.4850, expecting a spike through the 50. In other words, expecting shorts to get out. So buy market stop orders, looking for a spike through to 52, and then from there it needs to decide whether it wants to sell. At that point we get scenario 2, or we continue to 59. Those are my expectations for today. Okay, I'll leave you with that. Good luck. Thanks for sharing where you are today, where you're hailing from. I know there's a huge variety of people from many different places. We see that in the analytics on YouTube and so on, and I really appreciate you following and supporting what we're doing. Again, if you have not checked out EdgeClear, please go to edgeclear.com. And if you have not checked out the platform that I'm using here, edgeprox.com, I'd love for you to give it a whirl, 14-day free trial, and maybe join the team that understands and can accommodate online traders better than anyone so far, in my opinion. Good luck, and I'll catch you tomorrow morning. Take care.